Coding challenge, 26th of November already. Huh? Time goes really fast. So, let's see what everyone did yesterday. On the intermediate, question number one. On question number one, we wanted to find word in capitals, right? So we have a sentence with some words on it, and we wanted to identify the first word completely written using capitals. So before checking what everyone did, I would like to invite Yi to pop in and explain how would she solve the problem.
I'm not really in the mood to type or talk. So it's a string, so you have to turn it into an array. So you have to split the string around the gaps, the spaces in the string. So, but before that, you can declare what you're looking for. So let word in capitals equals your sentence. I don't know if the indentation, do I indent that? Do I indent on that line? No, so it's just dot under the let.
Oh, you indent that line.
Right. Oh, I need to put a gap there, and this keyboard is annoying me. Right. Right, so then you're splitting around the gaps. And then the array that gives you, you can then do find on it. So and then the word needs to have uppercases. So, and then this is where my thing didn't work in DevTools, because I think I don't know where to put the brackets. Capital C. And so I instinctively didn't put brackets, like, because most people have put like brackets like this before the end bracket, and I don't really get why they have. And then some people have put the semicolon, some people haven't. And then you should have your words in uppercase, and then you can return, and I think the return should be there. So you want it to return the word in capitals or an empty string, I think it is. So word in capitals, or I don't know where your lines are. Oh, there.
No space between
Right, so he was asking whether to uppercase needs the parentheses or not. Yes, it definitely needs parentheses, because to uppercase, same as to lowercase, is a method. So we will have to execute the method to convert the word into capitals. And about the semicolon, it's true, the semicolon is optional. This is just syntax sugar. Some developers like to put the semicolon for historical reasons. Some developers think this is unnecessary. I mean, that's up to you. I personally prefer to put the semicolon because it's an explicit way to say, hey, I'm done with this structure. But it's not necessary anymore with modern JavaScript. So will this work? Yes or no? And why? No? Why not? Yeah, so as you can see here, that space, some browsers may understand that, but I would recommend you don't put the space. It's when you declare a method and you want to execute the method, don't put a space between the name of the method and the parentheses. Just put it together. Exactly. And same on the line above, right? With the split. Right. Thank you, Yi. And will this work now? Yes or no? Yes. People is very happy, Yi, with that. So if you're happy to, feel free to test. Awesome. Awesome. So just to recap, so Yi, first of all, splitting the sentence into an array of words. So the first example will have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 words on it, right? And this is literally just trying to find the first word in capitals. How do we know if a word is in capitals? Because the word will be the same as the word converted to capitals, right? So capital I, that I is the same as capital I, yes, return it. Here, is capital T-H-E the same as everything in capitals? No, because JavaScript is case sensitive, right? No problem, same one. Next one, is this memory word the same as memory capitals? Yes, then return it, that's it. Because we just want the first one. Thank you, G. And what if I change the question? What if I now want to get the last word in capitals, not the first one?
Can I just reverse it first?
Correct. Correct. I like that, G. I like that. So to get the last one, there are different strategies, but probably the easiest one is simply do that, right? So even though that will fail, well, the first one will work because we have just one, but the last one, the second one, actually, it will be green, red, green, right? Because the last one, we got nothing, so it doesn't matter if we reverse the array or not, but the second one, that should return coherent, I hope. Exactly. You see? Array.reverse. Never forgotten. Cool. Thank you, Yi. So let's quickly check what everyone else did. Tom did the same thing, right? He maybe created a few variables, but he split everything, and then he's comparing the word against the capital version. So that's fine. And then what else? Gin, who got an unnecessary penalty probably here. So word found, the same thing, right? Double quotes, it's okay, but I recommend to use single quotes, especially for consistency reasons, right? So I'm not against double quotes, but if you use double quotes, use them consistently. Don't mix them, because otherwise it's, cool.
Where are you going to split that then to stop the scrolling? You're going to split it after the function arrow? Because the dot find is a long sentence. That you're not
Here,
liking. So will I split it there?
You can move the selected text to a new line, put parentheses, and you move everything, right, one line below. Similar to what Tom did. You see Tom? So Tom didn't get a penalty because he moved the return statement to a new line. So you can do the same even with the arrow functions, right? Right. Marta, another penalty because of the same reason. So the same thing, right? I mean, I believe, right? So look, that's the only difference. That's the only difference. So if you compare Tom, Gin, and Marta, can you see the difference on the return statement? Right? So Marta used the ternary operator, which is okay, right? If I got capital, return it. If not, return an empty string. But we can simplify this a bit based on what we discussed yesterday on the beginner's workshop with the OR operator. If I got the capitals, return it. Else, empty string. Just as a shorthand, right? Yeah, and finally, Alex. Yeah, she did this pretty much the same thing as everyone else. So,
can I just ask, Tom,
yep.
Do you not like arrow functions?
No.
Oh, you don't?
I just do it like that.
Because I find that more complicated to look at.
It's just the way I learned. We should.
We'll do one of the workshops I want to do, and I don't want to do it now because that could be a bit complex, to be fair, but it's important. It's about the technical differences between classic functions and arrow functions. Because even though in most of the cases they're equivalent, you can replace one with the other, in some scenarios there may be surprises. And I'm talking about lexical this, which you may have heard already. But we'll do that for sure. I don't know when, right? Anyway, any question regarding question number 1? No? Cool. And question number, actually I skipped Mobbing. Sorry, Mobbing. So let's check Mobbings first. So Mobbing, so this is the same thing, right? Split the sentence into words and then find the capital and then again Mobbing. So the ternary operator, which is perfectly fine, but as far as possible try to use the OR operator because it's just simpler, right? Right, question number 2, add multiple, and here I would like to call Mobbing to the stage.
So here, from what I understand about it, we have to use the splice command. So first we want to set up composers. The instruction was to, I can't remember what the question was exactly now. Then we had an item that we had to add and a position for it, something like that. So that's composers in the name of the array. Then we have the index, I think it was, first, and then the item itself. Is that right?
Look at your arguments. Is that right? So you've got your array, and then you've got
Yeah.
string.
Oh, my bad, yes, it's the other way around. Thank you. Right. And then we wanted to do composers dot splice, and inside the arguments we need to add the index first, the number of items that we want to add, which in this case is just the 1.
Was that 0 again, please?
It's the number of items that we need to add, so
To add.
or the number of additional items, is it, that we need to add or something? Is that right? Remove?
Yeah, so this is the number of
Okay.
items we want to remove. Because we want to add multiple elements, we don't want to remove anything, right? That's why here, the first argument is the position where you want to add new
Yeah,
items.
that's the index, that's the
Fine,
position.
correct. And then how many elements starting from that position you want to delete? 0. You don't want to delete anything, you just want to add.
Yeah, we want to add, yeah. Oh, that was it, yeah, okay. Right.
Correct.
And then it's the item itself. And then we return composers.
What do you think about indentation, Owen? So why return is indented? Yes, that looks better, right? Because they are not related, they are not
Yes.
nested, so they just
Yeah.
individual instructions, right?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
So then we had to remove items for the next one. So for that, we have the so it's the trying to remember which way around it is in this one. So have your composers again. And you have the items that you want to remove. So just items.
I think that's the index.
Sorry,
I think the second argument is the index.
is it?
Yeah, because on the first remove multiple on 0, remove 2 items.
Yeah.
So 0 is the
Yeah, you're
index.
right. Yeah, it's the index. Okay, so again we use the splice command.
You have one more argument.
What happened with the third argument? What was that?
Okay, yeah.
That goes as an argument, third argument.
Okay.
Like how many to remove?
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct. So the second argument specifies
Yeah.
where do you want to start removing elements,
Yeah.
the index, right? And
Yeah.
the second and the last argument, number 3,
Here's the number of items.
is the number correct. It's the
Okay.
number of composers that you want to remove, right?
Just
from
set
the
that
list.
as Q for quantity. Composers dot splice. And this time round it's Q and then index, I believe.
It's going to be the same as above, the same order, because splice doesn't change. The only thing that's changed is the order of arguments into the function. So index is still going to be first.
Is it?
Yeah, splice doesn't change the actual function itself.
Right. What I was looking at in my example then, something must have gone different there. I think it looks okay.
So that's correct. Yes.
Yeah.
One question from my side.
Yes.
So what Q means?
Quantity.
Can you be a bit more explicit? Can you call it like how many, for example,
Okay,
or
sure.
quantity if you want?
Yeah, you can do that. Just save myself some time, but yeah.
Correct. Correct. And what happens if we because we may get a penalty because of the length. I mean, it's not crazy. I think that's acceptable. That's completely acceptable. But imagine that because of whatever reason, the length of the line goes deeper, right, to the right of the screen.
Mhm.
How can we solve the problem? How can we split the list of arguments across several lines?
I'll just have them as a list going down, I suppose.
Yep. Can you add, for example, a breakpoint before the first argument?
Change it to Q.
No, I don't want to rename. I don't want to rename them, right? That's the lazy strategy.
Sure.
You want, no, in the argument list, and then one
Yeah.
line above.
Here? Yeah.
Before composers,
Yeah.
literally there, can you do the
Right.
breakpoint?
Yeah.
Correct. And then indent it? Correct. And then on the right, before closing the parentheses,
Yeah.
can you add another breakpoint? And then indent it 2 times to the very left, not to the left.
So
To the
left
very
side.
left. Yeah, more like that. You see?
Yeah.
So like that, this is, and then indent, can you indent composers to the left once, please? Yes, right? So that could be the way that if our list of arguments goes crazy, we can at least, for readability purposes, keep them into a new line. And of course, yeah, that's correct. We can even have one argument on each line. That's technically speaking correct, right? I mean, at some point, if you have too many arguments, probably there is something smelly, right? You shouldn't have like 20 arguments here.
Mm.
But in some cases, in order to be flexible, that could be a good strategy. So will this work, Movin? Hopefully, right? Yes, it does. Any question for Movin? No? Okay, thank you, mate. Cheers. So, what you've done here? Tom. So Tom is the same thing, right? He did literally the same thing. It's good. He called it how many? Can anyone see why Tom got a penalty here? On- Correct. Remember that until I don't know, until you do it right? So every time you put a comma, add a space afterwards. It's a silly thing. But if I'm an employer, I can see if that guy has spent 1 month of his life writing JavaScript or 1 year, right? Because of these silly things. Add a comma, add a space after every comma, add a space after every parenthesis, all these things, right? I mean, it's getting better, don't get me wrong, but let's just reinforce these things, right? So Gin, the same thing. Consistency. Comma, then add a space. That's a rule, right? I mean, just keep that in mind forever. Apart from that, that's good. What else? Right, so Marta. That's interesting. That's interesting. Even though technically speaking, I think the solution Marta proposes is perfect, from a human point of view, I think the naming conventions Marta follow are wrong. Can you spot any smelly thing on Marta's solution?
The second one, the remove multiple function.
Yep.
The musician argument doesn't really make sense.
Correct.
As a number.
Correct. That's super confusing, Marta. Super confusing. Because on the first argument, on the first function, add multiple, if I have to review your code, I can understand, okay, I got a list of musicians, fine. And then I got an individual one, and I want to add it into a specific position. That's fine. I buy that. I think the first one is perfect. But then, for consistency reasons, on the second one, if musician is a string here, it should be another string there. But it doesn't make any sense because you don't want to add any musician. So what will be the right name of this argument?
I think it was the other way around as well, wasn't it? That was the index.
The index.
That was the correct. That was the index. That was a number, right? And that one you can call it how many, quantity, something like that, right? But this is very confusing because musician is doing something different here and index is doing something different there. Cheers, Marta. And Alex. Yeah, Alex had a similar issue, right? Alex had a similar issue. So she swapped the order. So index is better now. Index is clearly better, but it's still name. It's not a name, right? That's another index. That's the quantity, as Mobin suggested. Ben, right? So Ben, right? Missing space here, wrong indentation there, wrong indentation there. Item, index, fine, place, number. He could have used index here as well, right? I mean, this is not a wrong place. Place, number, okay, fair enough. But just for consistency reasons. If we call it composes here, let's call it composes there. If we call it index here, let's call it index there, right? Right, that's pretty much it. So, I'll solve next question. Question number 3. Question number 3, find last. So we have this is very similar to the first question, the one that G solved, right? It's very similar. It's very similar. We have a sentence with some words on it. We don't want to, the only difference is we don't want to find the first word in capitals. We want to find the last word that starts with capital. But we don't care if the entire word is written in capitals or not, just the first word, right? Cool. So first of all, argument name. Sentence, right? And then let's try to return something. Return sentence, same thing G did. First of all, we split it because we want to get an array of words. Correct. So then what we can do is we can do a find. We'll see what to put in the find word, in the find logic.
Why don't we do what you did for the first question, reverse?
Yeah. I'll be there in a minute. I'll be there in a minute. So we do sentence not split. So we get the array of strings, and then we'll try to find the first one, right? But here we want to get the first one. We got to get the last one, right? Because of that, as Victor suggested, could be a good opportunity to do the reverse thingy.
Can you do reverse on the string as well?
Can you do a reverse on a string? I think so.
Okay.
I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. I'm not 100% sure, but can we do reverse on a string?
Test at the end to swap them around.
Hopefully you can, right? So let's try that. So if we got, let name equals Victor. Can we do name.reverse? What do you think, guys? Yes, no? No, we can't. Unfortunately, reverse only works on arrays. So how can we reverse Victor name? Correct. Remember. You split, then reverse, and then what? Correct. And you got a funny name. Whatever, right? Cool. But in this particular case, right, we already got the array, so we definitely can reverse it. And then the word. So in the word, we want to find the word in capitals. Sorry, not the word in capital, the word which first character is a capital. So how do we access the first character of a word? Say it again? 0, correct, Marta. So remember, with arrays, we can access the first element of the array, the second element, the third element, any index, right? But that also works with strings. With strings, if you do word 0, it will give you the first character of that string. Got it? Right. So then the only thing we have to do is to compare if word 0 is the same as what? Word 0 what? To uppercase, correct. Right. So, and then obviously we can get rid of the return statement to make the syntax shorter, right? Something like that. So will this work, yes or no, and why? Yes? Everyone agree on that? Wrong. Wrong. Come on, guys. Colors. Red, red, red. Green, green, green. It's not green, green, green. Which one won't work? And why? Tom, why are you smiling? You know the answer? Why don't you share it with us? You think it will work? I don't think it will work. I mean, definitely, if I run the test, you'll quickly notice why this won't work. I think it wouldn't work. And I think the easy, I'll give you a hint. I may be wrong, it may be okay, but I think that doesn't smell right. And I think the problem is on the first example. So that will work. That should work as well, but the first ones will fail, probably. We return the last element of the array, which is written in capitals, in theory. So that should return red, green, green. There is 1 point on the board challenge for whoever gives me the right answer. Why the first one fails? 1.5 points. 2 points, last offer. Right. Oh, that works. Why that works?
What was the problem with the first one? Because what's the difference?
Let me. Right. No. Sorry, I completely missed the point. Sorry, that was my fault. That was minus 2 points for me. No.
If it was A star, I think capital A or something.
Yeah, no. That was stupid. Why did they say that? Right. No. No, that's. Just ignore me, guys. Ignore me completely. No, I was thinking. I'm not going to tell you anything. Sorry, guys. That's right. So. You all get 2 points, right?
Yeah.
No, I'll do it. I'm so sorry. I failed it. I failed. You made it right. So you get 2 points for free, which will help people with negative score. Right. Change sequence. Change sequence. So we got. Do you remember what's the technical way to describe how we call the functions that are returned by another function? Higher order functions, HOFs. Correct. Correct. So we got a function here. So first of all, what's the argument of the function? Number? Function? It's not a function, Kim. It's a number, right? Correct. Right, so then we know that the function, look, the way you should read that is as soon as you run this function, you have to run another function. So in other words, the highlighted text will return a function because we'll execute it afterwards, right? So that will return another function. And what's the argument of the new function? Number 2, correct, yeah. Number 1, number 2. And then what happened? After executing the second function, we can execute a third one. So what is this inner function returning? Another function, exactly. And what's the argument of the new function? Number 3, correct. And then what? Return what?
Number 1, number 2, and 3 all times by each other.
Like that? Will this work? Any concern about that? No? I think that's correct. Correct. That's fine. How can we solve it in one line using arrow functions?
Number 2 in brackets.
Number 2. We don't even need the brackets, probably. Can we do that?
Yeah. And then number 3 goes to number 1 and number 2 all times by each other again.
Will this work? So this, let's see if it works. Correct, it works. So these two solutions are equivalent, right?
Yeah.
This may be a bit complicated to read. That's why sometimes it's better to, yes, for your own understanding. So number 2 returns a function. So you can do that, right? You can put parentheses. So number 2 returns all these things. And then number 3 returns all these things. If that any helps. That's the same, right? So parentheses go for free. Any question? Higher order functions, right? Cool. So let me review what you've done. Actually, I skipped the previous question because I failed, right? So sorry about that. So first of all, Tom. So Tom changed sequence. Number 1, number 2, number 3. Right, that's correct. Did Tom get any unnecessary and silly penalty here? Spaces. After every comma, after every parenthesis, after every operator, plus, multiply, divided, all these things, right? Please put the spaces, right? Also, semicolons are a bit random here, Tom. Why this has a semicolon, but this one doesn't? Consistency, right? That's the thing. I don't care if you put semicolons, if you don't put them, but if you put them, please be consistent. Gin, same thing, right? Literally the same thing. No, actually, that's even worse. Can anyone see why Gin's solution is even worse than Tom's one? Correct. This is super confusing. Super confusing. Don't call it Fn, because you give the impression, you get the feeling that you are dealing with functions, but you are not. Looks like you're multiplying function references, which is a very exotic thing for me, right? So don't do that. Just call them, that's fine, NO1, number 1, fine, whatever, right? Who else? Marta. So Marta, she used an arrow function, which is good, it's nice, right? It's good, that's a good thing. So, but what's the problem with Marta here? Correct. Wrong. Don't call it Fn. That's a number, right? Semantics. I know that you may be thinking that's stupid, it works, I don't care. but you'll work with people, and it's sometimes could be frustrating to understand others' code, right? It could be very difficult. So please do this exercise of thinking about. It's not just about your team; it's about you in 6 months' time. If you review this code in 3 months' time, you I mean, this is mind blowing, right? So don't do that. Alex, same problem. Same thing as Marta, right? That's the problem when they learn together. If there's something wrong, they both do the same thing wrong, right? I'm joking now. So the argument name is wrong. It shouldn't be number. Oh, sorry, shouldn't be function. Should be. I mean, I think it's even. I don't like B and C. I don't like. I'll be honest. But I prefer you to put B and C, A, X, Y, Z than function. Because if you put B, what's B? I don't know. I have no idea. I'll figure it out. But if you put function, it's even worse. Because you are telling this is a function and it's not, right? Alright. Anyone else? No, that's it. So last question, remove characters. We've done that like 30 times already, right? The remove characters. So let's do that once again. So we have a string and we want to remove the these characters in this list of this is like a blacklist, right? So whenever we have this character, just remove it. We could use a regex, but I don't think that it was necessary here. It wasn't expected. So let's just do it in the classic way. So first of all, arguments. You tell me. Array.
No, sorry,
String and array. What?
I said that was very descriptive.
Yeah, string.
Blacklist array.
Blacklist. Okay, I like blacklist. String. I mean, I don't know what to put here because the semantics is not. For instance, when Movin did the exercise, he used composers. Someone used musicians. That was good, right? Because we know the semantics. Here looks like random text, right? So we cannot call that anything specifically. I think a string is fine because at least we explained that, hey, this is a string, right? So then we have the string. I'm going, as usual, to split it. I'll do something in between, I don't know what, and eventually I'll join it, right? So probably I'll do a filter here. So, oops, split. So I create an array of characters, then I'll filter some of these characters, and then I'll join the result list of characters. That's probably an easy way, right? And then filter, tell me, argument name. Char, right? Because this is an individual character, right? Why is it an individual character? Because you are splitting with an empty string. So on the first example, what will be the length of the array?
What do you mean you split?
Yeah, so on the first example, after running string.split, what will be the length of the array? 5. What array of 5 will return? Array of index 5. Doesn't what doesn't means?
It doesn't. There's no such thing as index 5 in that array.
Correct. So what will it return? Undefined. That's correct. That's correct. Nice one, Victor. All right. So then filter, character. So we want to filter. So we want to keep the characters that are not included here. For example, is A included in the blacklist? No, keep it. Is exclamation mark included here? Yes, discard it. Right? That's the strategy. So how can we do that? Blacklist dot includes character. Something like that, Tom? Will this work? Correct. What will the first example return? 2 exclamation mark. Correct. Correct. Because we are doing on the other way around. We are keeping the elements on the blacklist. We want to discard them. So what do we have to change? Correct. We have to negate. We have to negate. If you don't like that, you can always do this, right? That will work. That will work. But in the long term, in order to simplify the code, you can simply add the exclamation mark and then problem solved. Any question?
So you're using split on the string to start with.
Yep.
And in resources it says splitting arrays.
Say it again. Splitting arrays.
So
Yes.
split misleading.
Splitting. Yeah, that would be splitting strings.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Thank you, Tom. I'll add the description. That's a
So
good
like
point.
someone might think you can only use split on an array.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's correct. That's a bit confusing, Tom. You're right. Thank you. I'll update to say splitting strings instead of splitting arrays. Thank you, Tom. And that's pretty much it. No questions. So thank you for watching.